So let me see if I can get myself organized. I'm gonna put my mic on that I haven't put on yet. Right, I am starting very early. So bear with me. Hoping this is not too noisy. We're trying to get this on. Right, I'm gonna take this off. Right, I'm just gonna take that off. I am not organized. I thought it was ready, but I just putting my mic back on. And I'm seeing my distance actually from the table. I really want it to be a lot closer. So I'm just gonna get my mic ready. And let's see. So I wanted to work on this character here. My distance is a bit close, but yeah, this is what I'm gonna work on. I'm gonna start painting her face. I'm just gonna open my gesso and get into it. Lives are always so stressful. I really do hope you can hear me in this, but lives are always so stressful trying to do them. But I'm just gonna keep going this year and not stress myself, and hopefully this works. If it doesn't work volume wise, I will actually probably download this and edit it again and then get myself back onto the channel. So I am just gonna get into it. So if this is your first time here, my name is Beatrice Ajayi. I'm an artist based in Glasgow in Scotland, and I love to share what I get up to here on my channel. So I wanted this year to be a bit more interactive and to spend a little bit more time sharing with you guys what I'm doing in the studio. So I'm just gonna work on this girl today. I have a whole range of them that I've been working on, and I wanted to get back into them and start building the layers. So here I'm using, what paint is this? This is one of the golden ones, is the Indian yellow. I like the warmth in it. So I am using this to bring out her lighter areas. But the thing is, I go back and forth with my colors, so this might all change. So I'm trying to also take my time and really think about where I'm putting my marks these days. I usually do, but I'm trying to do it even more, really be deliberate in what I'm doing. So yeah, I am based in Scotland, and I've been doing art for a while now, actually, for years, since I was a kid, but also I did study it a little bit in Nottingham Trent University. I did a fine art degree, and that was an interesting experience. But I ended up coming out, yeah, so I originally went into uni to try and do illustration. I mean, to college, I should say college. I went in to do an art and design college course in Croydon College in England. And I went in originally thinking I would do illustration because I love storytelling, I love writing as well. And I wanted to be able to illustrate the characters that I painted. But what ended up happening was I was thinking about autonomy and the fact that with painting and with art, I could decide my own, what I wanted to do, as in brief wise. I could decide my own briefs. I could have my signature on it at the end of the day. And so I ended up coming out with doing art instead of the illustration. So that was a really interesting diversion in what I was trying to do. And so with that, I have kept going with art since I left uni. I've been working with it myself and just getting on with it. So I'm trying to think here what else I want to add to this face. I'd wanted to lighten it. So I've put some acrylic paint on her face just now. And I'm going to try and work in on something else in some other areas because I want that to dry. I don't want to ruin that. So I want her face to also stick out, like quite a highlighted side. So I might make some of the areas behind her a lot darker. And now think about it. But I've already got a lot of warm colors on this, so I don't really want to add too much more right now. I feel like for this character, I want to pull some other ones out. So let me see my smaller brush here. So I really want to take my time with this whole range of originals that I have on palettes. So let's see what I can add into these areas here. So I love to use a lot of blues. And I recently got these transparent acrylics. They're like, what are they again? Are they flow acrylics? Transparent ones. So I've been adding layers with these. And they are really interesting for drips and things. So I'm going to come in. I love blues. So I'm going to start putting some blues in. I really like phthalo blue as well. This one is, what is this one? Yeah, this is phthalo blue. But I also like the really thick, I mean, this is transparent. But I like the kind of thicker one as well that is opaque. So I'm going to use some of that as well. Because what I'm trying to do is overlap this color onto her face. So I'm going to start doing some signature stylistic painting. Oop. This is me trying to get organized. I've got a whole range of things here. If you have an art studio yourself, you'll understand. Sometimes we are basically balancing things all around us to paint, and that's what's going on here. I was almost not doing this because, as I said before, it's quite challenging to try and do lives. And I've tried to do it as much as possible so that I can get used to it, but it is hard to push yourself into it. But I definitely enjoy doing it. Once I'm in doing it, I really enjoy it. So it's the beforehand that is the issue. So I am just gonna start just playing around with this color. And the more you add, you start to get other ideas. So I like to emphasize around the eyes, like really build colors around the eyes. I'm tempted to put this purple in. I haven't used the purple as much recently. So I've been trying to make sure that my different mediums are really interesting to me. I love to use ink as well, and I'm finding a happy balance that I like a lot of these mediums that flow and move and allow me to kind of draw, because I love drawing and sketching. So to kind of draw into the painting. And what I've been doing with these flow acrylics is that if I want an area to be really dark, I just leave the liquid very thick, like very concentrated. But if I want something to be glazed over, I kind of drag it across. And then also learning that the transparent paint can work with each other so they don't cause, a change in the transparency. So I'm really leaning into that. So the more I work on this, she's going to change a lot. The more I add more colors. So I'm adding some cooler colors right now. I might want to add some of the blue again, actually. So some shadow areas. And then I have to be patient enough to let her dry as well. So I do have some other pieces that I can replace this one with if I feel that she's very wet and I can't do anything else with her. But at the same time as well, I wanted to show the progress of this. So if I stop halfway, that's not really going to be helpful. So what I was doing as well was working with them in a batch. I was going over them with different layers, collage layers like this butterfly here. And as I was doing all those layers, I was doing it on like, I think I've got 12, or is it 12 of these or 20 of these? I can't remember. And just one after the other with mold and paste, just working on all of them together and building the layers. And then now I've told myself I need to be patient, I need to slow down and get into the details. So that is what I'm doing here, is just getting into the details. And also, it's just finding ways to make it easier for myself to paint. That was something I've been thinking about last year as well, was looking at techniques and processes I can use to help me create art a lot better, like a lot easier. That is what I've been trying to do. So I'm just filling in a lot of the background areas right now. I will come in and that's why I'm using the transparency as well, because as I said, I love to draw, and I've got flowers in here. I've got a whole range of other characters that I want to be able to see, because once all this dries, I will come in and build on those layers and bring them out a bit more. So, and then also really trying to lean into my styles and my interests. I have a bird here, and I've always had this interest for some reason in having a bird in my different characters. Mostly I used to put the birds into like my characters that were animals, but I always tried to find a way to add them into my figurative work. And that's what I've been doing recently, just going, you know what, I'm just going to throw it in and see what happens with it. So that's what I've got here. I've got one of these characters here. So I'm going to bring in some of this blue. So just working around with the transparent flow acrylics. And this butterfly is a collage. I've got another one here that's a collage as well. And what I'm doing is making sure that I really integrate this element of collage into the piece. So I'll come back and I'll go over this butterfly over and over again and make sure that it looks like more ingrained into the piece and more like I have really worked on it and changed it quite a bit. I don't want it to be exactly the way that it was when I stuck it down. So I'm just taking my time going around this. So yeah, I don't know how long this is gonna be for. I'm just deciding that I want to just go ahead and build this. So I'm just gonna keep going. Right, let me just move this a little bit. There's some things I don't need here actually. Let me move this. But I think I'm going to use one of my other camera stands next time, because I want to be able to make sure I can see this a lot clearer from further up, because it's quite close. So I have to keep looking to make sure that her face is in there. So as I said, I've been using a whole different range of the transparent paint on her, and I'm going around adding it to different areas. I'm going to add some more of this flow acrylic. And it's transparent so I can see my drawings inside of it, which is my aim, to be able to see my drawing. And what I did was, after adding modeling paste and different elements, I then also added, I drew on here with my pen. So this is ordinary like writing pen. I love using it's a Biro brand, I think, from when I was a kid. It's not sponsored. But I loved using that for drawing when I was a kid, and I found that sometimes when I go to varnish them, they would bleed a little bit. So I am trying to see if I can hide the layer behind like a bigger, like a lot of layers basically of paint and see if that works. But I really like that sketchy element into the piece. So I said I wanted to either make her darker or the background darker. I like this green. I'm trying to see where this is all going with the colors. And what I want to do, if I want to lighten any area or anything like that. So if I bring in any like gesso, white gesso, or any other opaque color, it's going to change all the transparency. So I'm trying to be careful where I use that. So I'm just going to put a little gesso on this and come in to add some white areas. So just building the layers. That's what I'm doing, just building the layers. And making some areas stand out. A little bit of concentrating to try and get this out. I'm going to go and work on the lips a little bit, I think. Let's add some of these. I've got these acrylics here, which are fluorescent acrylics. And let's see if I worked with this one yet. Yep, I have. So I think I have a little black on this one, so it keeps rubbing off. I'm going to work on the lips. So I'm trying to think what color I want to bring in. Might put this purple to the side as well, just in case I use it in a minute. So just going around and seeing what I can add to it and how I can make her brighter. It's fun to paint on these palettes actually, and make them accessible to people. I have a little saw hook on the back that I can use to hang it with. So it's just back and forth, trying out different colors. Building layers. And making her stand out. So let's see. And I'll keep going back and forth. These colors won't be permanent. It's just to keep going back and forth, layering and seeing what happens. And I will change the color in here, so I'll be adding variety. I'm gonna add some of this pink into her lips. It's just how you feel. The more you do the work, the more you will adjust or be able to know what to do when something doesn't look right to you, and you will adjust. So I just want variety of these colors on things. So when I'm doing like her lips and things, I just want variety. So, and then moving the color around her face. That's what I'm doing, and it will slowly get even more dynamic as you go along, add in all those details. So yeah, this is fun. It's fun. So as I said, I want her face to stick out. So I might want to come in here and make a little bit of a... So this is a little bothy I've got here under her eye. A little Scottish cottage. Let's mix in some of this. So my white has mixed in with some of the transparent colors and is starting to build different colors, other colors. So I want to kind of make a sunset behind this house here, which will go quite a bit with her eye as well. So what I'm noticing as well is that this has more space around this eye and this does not as much. So it's going back and forth and playing around with things and where to add it. So if I want a sunset behind this little bothy, I will start playing around with some of those ideas. It's quirky, it's fun. Thinking some of the purple somewhere. And you can always go over colors. With acrylic, it doesn't have to stay the same way that we are using it. It can change. So I'm looking for where else to add these colors so that it is telling a story. Said is moving colors around. You can put colors in a place and then you take them away later on. They don't have to stay there. So this eye is constantly moving and being dynamic. I need to see what this looks like. I'm not sure about the leveling of this eye, and sometimes I'll put markers like that to show that I want something else going on. And you can always paint over it, so I don't mind any of that. Is just play my way through this. Move the color around. So now if I step back and look at this, like I said, this area here, I want it to be probably brighter. I'm gonna add some more green into this, I think. But first I wanna just go over this. Let's see what it does. With some of the cool purple. Just mix it in so it's not pure white. So that it sticks out a little bit. Right, let's go. So sometimes I'll think, right, what's the complementary color? I think I've been thinking that recently. The majority of the color I have, I would say, is like in the reds, warms. So if I add some greens, I have this green here, which is phthalo green. I am working back and forth with cool and warm colors, and I don't really care sometimes if they mix. I want variety in my colors. This part here is quite similar to her skin tone, so I'm just gonna change this a little bit, even though this hummingbird, don't know if you can see the hummingbird, is supposed to get a lot brighter. So let me start a little bit on the hummingbird and then just add something to highlight that it's there. Mix in some of that orange with the green, and then that will neutralize it. So it's just trying to go back and forth and see what I can do here. It takes time. It takes time to do all this. So let's see if I want to do, I think I'll bring some more blue in as well, but let's put this green for now. Bring some of that green in here. I want to carry the color across. I'm going to put probably some more of this blue, and it's going to blend into this green. So when I'm painting this, I don't know what it looks like to anyone else. I'm just going with what is in my head and what I feel I should do, but I'm going to come in into the eyes and let this get a bit brighter because I want this to start drying. So it is all about planning slightly a little bit when we are painting. So to know our tools, like when we should give it a break. So I'm coming back into the eyes to brighten it some more. It would have dried from before. And then to start adding again some more detail. So this is quite blue now. Trying to think what I want to do with that. Make it brighter a bit. And there's the modeling paste on this as well, so it gives it some texture. So some parts you will miss out, some you will actually get. I'm going to go in and try and start adding like the flower that's here. I have like daisies all the way around, and I want to start bringing some of that in. I've had to accept that it takes time to create these. I can't rush it. You just can't. If you want to add the complexity and the layers you want to add, you're going to have to take your time. I like that little dragon bit there, and there's more I've got up here that I can add as well, flower wise. Like up here there's another one, so if I, the petals are smaller than that, but I'm ended up making it a lot bigger than they were actually. And the thing is, even if I'm doing this now, I can always go over it again. It doesn't have to stay like this. So there was one there, and I was sure there was another one here, but I've covered it up, like another one closer to her eye. Don't really want to touch that area though. So yeah, it's just to keep going back and forth. I'm looking also for like a really dreamy look for this character, like you, when you see her, she's like from another world kind of thing. So I'm mixing these pinks. There's still some of the blues inside my brush. It's a very muddy color brush. But then I start getting in the mood to just start adding some gestural marks. I'll come back and add some blues maybe in here again. But right now I'm in the pink flow. And how much is too much? I have no idea. Because you can do some of this and make a mistake and go, oops, I shouldn't have done that. So I'm just trying to see what is too much. Like here's very busy and I don't know. Some of this I should probably leave it alone. But I like her face. I'm gonna probably add some more into, check what this looks like. Maybe more of the blue in the hair area. Like I like this blue, but maybe some more blue. And drawing with things as well, scratching into it, doing a whole range of things is so much fun. Just cleaning off my brush. So adding some more of this again in areas I've done before, making them darker. This brush is really unruly actually. Because as I said before, I like to emphasize the eyes, like the areas around the eyes. So I just have this thing where I like making it look like it's water. Don't know why. Trying to remember, there'll be a reason for that. I think maybe I was doing some of my swans and birds and I just liked the way that the water looked around her eyes for those paintings. So my little hummingbird, I think I will probably brighten around this hummingbird in a minute. So I'll do a little bit of shadow around my flower here, a bit of shadow in here. Maybe build this area around this plant. I'll come back in and do some more work on that. Some more shadow. When I go over the red, it makes it purple. So let's see. And I'm thinking about this area up here. What is this about? And sometimes I've had it where it's like about basically like a whole world inside our hair. So I've got to do a shadow around this bit as well. Let me see. Do I want to use this black? I'm going to use some of this thicker opaque phthalo blue and see what happens. So put my brush down and try and open this. Actually, what I'm thinking is I better not do that because this is actually an open acrylic and it will stay wet for longer, so I'm not going to do that. I am going to use my Prussian blue. That's what I think I was trying to say before, what blue was my favorite. It's my Prussian blue. That is my favorite, and I'm going to try not to get it all over this entire space. So I'm just trying to shake that so I can get it out. There we go. So Prussian blue I use most of the time instead of black because I want to be able to not make things too dark. Like have a different interest. So I usually use this like and mix in other colors into it for a darker area. I want to get a darker element into something. So I'm gonna have to add like some other colors, some reds and then I've also remembered the thing I always do, which is come on to do lives and then it's like I'm hungry, so my tummy starts complaining. Oh, one day I will learn, one day. So this bird is going to be building, I'll be building the layers for this bird. And it is tucked in here. So I'm just gonna try working on this area here. I do have plants in here, so there's some sketches and drawings coming in. Trying to think what I think of that area. I'm darkening some places because I want to make her stand out a lot more. And this is with the Persian blue. I feel like sometimes I've realized I like blue a lot, but then other times I like warm colors. So I think I like them all, but it's how to balance it. So making that a bit more shadowy, and then I'm going to use a slightly bigger brush to add my green in this area. Oh, lighter color. Let's see what color I mix. Because on one hand, I wanted to push the back and bring the front forward, but let's just try it. I might change it. It might be another color that I think of instead of this green. I think I just want a lighter color, so it might go back to being warm, maybe, or yellow. It's going to be an experiment, I think. Ooh, I've just mixed in some of that yellow there. The Indian yellow, and that looks really nice. A little hummingbird. Let's add some of this color somewhere else and bring it in. I like the purples in the eyes, and it's a bigger brush. There's so many other tools I could be using here as well, and I'm using none of them. But I have a whole range of palette knives and all sorts of other things I could bring in. And then scratching into it. Actually, I like to sometimes do like writing. They can see the writing here actually. But to put some abstracted script into the actual painting. Through the paint, and then you can see what's behind. So let's see what that looks like. But this is not going to be finished on this session. I can still keep working on it, get ideas, come back, look at it again, and decide what else I want to do to it. And as I said, I'm going to keep layering on it. So I'll go back to adding some more again to maybe some other areas with this pinks. So, and the thing is, you can be scared to like ruin something, we'll call it, or overdo something. But as I said, you can always come back and work on it and push areas back. really use the warm colors. So yeah, in shadow, but scumble some other color over this. So just keep going back and forth. Yeah, and the eyebrows, I've just realized I didn't really do very much for the eyebrows. So that would be a darker color for the eyebrows. Let's see. But you can mix the acrylic, open acrylic with uh, the other acrylic that is a lot darker, and I think it makes a difference to make it um, basically dry quicker. So I'm trying to see what color I want to add to make this eyebrows a bit darker. So you can always wait and let that dry. It's all built in layers, just built in layers, and acrylic dries so fast. And I just like the fact that it does that, but you have to be really patient in your execution of what you add. It's like back and forth. So there's some trees there, I think. So I can blend some of these back. I'll push them back later when other areas dry. It doesn't all have to be at once. You can use a smaller brush. Right now this brush is probably a lot bigger than I need it to be honest. In here I could make like, ooh, there's a green I've just mistakenly mixed and I like that. I'm gonna bring that in. In fact, it's perfect. And this is the things that it's like learning. It is perfect for my leaf that I have in here that I've not done yet. So the closer you look at things, you start to see some extra details that hadn't been seen before. perfect. And that's with the Indian yellow, and this is now the Persian blue. The different blues with the same color of yellow would change it slightly, so that is great. So adding a little bit of green to this area. I think some yellow would go well in here actually, but I will just add this for now, this green. It'll come in with the yellow like. I've got some pre-mixed colors here. So it's like the field and trying to, in front of the house. That's what this is. And then I was supposed to have a hill. And there's a whole thing of making this landscape go across her face as well, which I haven't done. And this is what I'm saying of the layering. It's like there's just so much going on. The ideas are never ending. And I will have some trees here. Smaller brush, definitely. I think I need to. Trees. Let's just make some. So there's like a real interest of detail going on in here now. Yellow. And I'll come back in with some of the pinks again and the creams, and I will just keep going back and forth, just building it. Some white in there, and it will just bring out some more elements. And then if I let that dry, because actually here as well, when I let this dry a bit better, I am supposed to have some fields in here as well. So let me just make sure this is visible. In here, supposed to have some fields, some greens, some yellows going on in here. So all that is going on. With hills and so yeah, building the layers, adding the interests, making a whole world where she's not looking anything like she started off with. At the beginning, I'll work on the butterflies as well, and I'll work on other areas again. I just want to make sure that I don't go too far and lose myself in what I'm doing, but this is part of the detail that I'm planning to put, because the inspiration for this is working on my figurative characters and telling a story and having my local environment thrown into my conversation and my storytelling. So I really like daisies, I love butterflies. I wanted to be able to add birds to the conversation. So I have sometimes swans, sometimes hummingbirds. And here I've decided to put my signature bird in there. And that is more of a symbiotic relationship of people living cohesively or animals living cohesively. So it's kind of like a symbiotic conversation that I have with other um, narratives that I've had in my work. The butterflies as well, I kind of think of as coming to share information. The birds, the same. It's like there's a conversation between them from different aspects coming into this, which can be like, different things in life introduced into our situation. So it's very abstract in that way in the conversation, and it's very abstract in the layers that I'm putting in here because I have the background, the landscape, in there. I have this character that is part of that landscape, is in the landscape, but isn't understood because she isn't quite what is expected when you see this kind of a portraiture. So there's other elements going on in the conversation which I can apply to myself, or other people could apply to themselves if they feel slightly disorientated, away from home, in a new place. There's a lot of layers in here. So it's then basically to draw that out. So the textures I've put in here and the conversation are all fun to work with. And yeah, in my next live, I think I will try and continue doing her face and working on other things. So I'm going to spend time and think about what else I want to add to this, but to let it dry and really, really think about it. I might leave those abstracted areas up there. I might work a bit more on the bird here at the bottom. But yeah, I like where this has gone for this session. So thank you so much for joining me. My name is Beatrice Ajayi. I'm based in Scotland, and that's why I'm adding all these landscapes and this little bothy that I'll try and bring out a bit more the next time that I start working on this. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I'm trying to call this like my Friday lives. I'll see if I can do lives every day. I'm not sure about if I have that stamina at this moment in time. It's a new year, and to try and get myself into a schedule, I'm slowly making sure I do something each day. So if it's not something here on my lives, it'll be something on my main channel. If it's not on my main channel, it'll be a short or something like that that I will share. But thank you so much. And please do enjoy the rest of your day. And please check out my channel as well and see what else I get up to there. There is going to be another video coming out tomorrow, which will be Saturday. And that is my weekly main vlog that I share with you guys here on the channel. So yeah, this was fun actually. I went further than I thought I would go. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. But yeah, you can watch this back and see how this progressed. And I will see you guys next time. To enjoy your day.